Hello friends, Adam here with FED. So some people asked me to do a class tier list for Fire Emblem Three Houses, so I'm going to give it my best shot. This tier list is going to be based on maddening mode with a fresh new game file, so no new game plus. And we have 4 different categories I'll be throwing these classes into. End game ready, essentially best of the best, great stats, good skills, and just can be used for the entire game. Master and move on, being classes that have really great mastery abilities and you want to spend time in them to get that. But once you master them, it's fine to just move on to an endgame ready class or another class to master. Stepping Stone, don't have the greatest mastery ability, but maybe that's the next best thing for that class line or whatever. Not necessarily the greatest classes in the game, and more often than not, you'll want to spend time in master classes that are worth mastering instead of stepping stones. But there'll be just a few in there. And then don't waste your time. There's a few classes I'll put in don't waste your time, just because either there's other classes that do what they do better, or that I just think they're not really worth the effort, essentially. So let's get started. All of the beginner classes I'm going to throw into Master It and move on. They all give great movement options for combat arts once you master them. They also just get like +2 stat skills, +2 strength, +2 defense, +2 speed, +2 magic, which are all really great early game skills. +2 strength or +2 speed in the early game could be the difference between being doubled, not doubling, or one round KOing or not. So definitely worth mastering these as early as possible. All right, next we got Archer. Archer I'm going to throw in Master It and move on. Archer has one of the most useful early game and even late game mastery abilities for Maddening mode, that being hit +20. Hit rates are low in Maddening. They just are. Hit rates are you're really going to struggle to hit without using a combat art in the early game. But hit +20 really mitigates that problem and makes it so your units are more reliable. It even affects gambits, so +20 hit on a gambit is also really nice. Again, especially early game. There's a lot of units that don't have enough charm to really be effective with gambits without a little bit of luck. Relying on 50%, 60%, or even 70%, not the most comfortable thing. So if you can get that up into the 80s and 90s, it makes your gambits much more reliable to hit. So Archer, definite master, but of course you don't want to stick with it. There's better classes later on. Okay. Armor Knight. Armor Knight's one I struggled with when I was planning this out, putting between Stepping Stone and Don't Waste Your Time. Ultimately, I will say Stepping Stone so that you can keep leveling up your armor rank in battle to get to weight -5 eventually, and also work your way towards Fortress Knight. But if you're not worried about getting weight -5, or you're not worried about making the rank for the heavy armor rank for Fortress Knight later on, then I would definitely go with just Brigand at this point, master that for Death Blow. Death Blow is much better than Armored Blow, and you're already focusing on axes anyway if you're an Armor Knight, so Brigand's just better in that regard as far as skills in the early game goes. Armor Knight can be a good stepping stone if you want to have a high defense unit though. So I think I'll leave them in Stepping Stone, but maybe not the best option. All right, Mage, definitely going into Master It and move on. Fiendish Blow for your magic users, so +6 attack on player phase is great. It's the magic equivalent of Death Blow, which we'll get to in a minute, and really is worth your time to master it, and also has the highest magic base for your mages at this point for intermediate tier. All right, Dark Mage, don't waste your time. It's a male-only class, so that's one thing, but that doesn't really matter all that much because you have males that are mages. It learns Poison Strike, which I know some people will tell you is worth your time. It's not. There's other skills and other classes that are much more worth it. I mean, and also you have to get a Dark Seal from killing the Death Knight, which it's honestly not that difficult depending on which route you took and what you focus on. You can really plan on killing the Death Knight and make it happen every single time, honestly, even on Maddening. But I don't think it's the Dark Seal's not worth it, just if that's why you're doing it. So I would say don't waste your time trying to take down the Death Knight. It's okay. You don't need Dark Mage. Its mastery ability is not that great. And yeah, just I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't waste your time with Dark Mage. People will disagree with me, I'm sure, but whatever. All right, the next class, Priest, also gonna be in Don't Waste Your Time. The mastery ability for Priest is Miracle, which while on an enemy it's great because it's like for them it's annoying to the player. It's not something you can rely on. You could get in a situation where you could try to Divine Pulse to say like kind of RNG abuse to get Miracle to activate or something, but you're better off just not putting your unit in a place where they can die. So I would say don't waste your time with it. Mage is a better class at that point in the game anyways. Just go Mage. I only ever do Priest for fun because I think it looks cooler than Mage too. Like I think the outfit's better. And it's just like stupid. Doesn't even matter. But yeah, don't waste your time with that. All right, Mercenary. I'm gonna put that in the Stepping Stone. Mercenary's fine. It learns Vantage, which can be useful. But I feel like Vantage is only really useful if you're gonna have it in conjunction with some other skills like Wrath. And that's basically it. Maybe even Battalion Wrath if you want to say that. But I'm gonna say it's a Stepping Stone class. Mastery ability is not great, but if you need, if you want to move into a new class and the only stat you have is swords, then sure. If the only rank you have up is swords, then Mercenary is your place, I guess. Same kind of goes for Thief. I'm gonna say Stepping Stone. It's not really worth mastering. Steal isn't that useful. I feel like most items that you would want to steal are dropped anyways by enemies, so stealing isn't like necessary. Being able to pick locks is nice, but there's also, you can just buy door keys and chest keys for pretty cheap. So ultimately I'll put them in Stepping Stone. Again, it's kind of similar to Mercenary, where it's not, or sorry, not Mercenary, Myrmidon, where the class isn't bad per se. It just doesn't have anything special about it. Okay, Cavalier. Gonna go into Stepping Stone. Cavalier is, it learns Desperation, which, you know, at low health you will do, if at low health, if you double, your double attack will essentially be like a brave weapon attack. So your first two attacks, your attacks will happen back to back rather than waiting for the counter attack essentially. And that isn't, it's pretty situational, not that great. So it's a Stepping Stone class for sure if you want to move into other horse riding classes later on and work on your riding rank. But other than that, your time is probably better spent in another class. It has high movement too, which is great. So if you're into that. Brigand. Definitely master it. Let me make sure my dimensions are okay. Yeah, we're still good. Okay. Yeah, Brigand, definitely master Brigand. For any of your physical units, it is a good pick just for death blow alone. Plus, again, plus 6 damage on player phase can be super big. So for the similar reasons to master Mage, you want to master Brigand. And again, so even if you do want to go into a class like, I don't know, even if you want to go into Hero or go into Fortress Knight or go into Grappler, like you want death blow for those classes anyways. So just go Brigand. Brigand's good. Okay, Brawler. Brawler's dumb. Don't waste your time. Brawler learns unarmed combat. The stats are, I'm not looking at them right now, but I feel like they're comparable or like even maybe a little worse in some aspects to Brigand. Just go Brigand, learn Death Blow, and go from there. Don't even worry about Brawler. Brawler isn't a good class to spend time in. Okay. Pegasus Knight. Honestly, Pegasus Knight could be an endgame class if you really need it to be. It is that good. It's that good of a class, I'm being honest. But we're going to put it into Master and move on. For Darting Blow, I think just about any female unit, any physical female unit would really appreciate Darting Blow. It really, for some, it makes it so they can double or keeps them from getting doubled on player phase. So, Darting Blow is great. Also, Flying is amazing. One of the best early game classes you'll find. Pegasus Knight, super good, super good. I was tempted to put it to end game ready, but it's not quite there. Mainly because there's other flying classes that are better. So we'll leave it here for Master It and move on Sniper, our first endgame ready class. Sniper, once mastered, has Hunter's Volley. Only wall in the Sniper class. So that is 2 attacks in a row. Really great stuff. The combat arts, the brave combat arts, like Swift Strikes, Point Blank Volley, and of course, Hunter's Volley, are really, really valuable on Maddening. You pair that with like a high crit weapon and stuff, then you're looking at a double chance to crit with one attack phase, and I don't know, it becomes really good really quickly. And I would argue that Sniper is better than Bow Knight in many ways. So consider staying there, honestly. Anyways, yeah, it's so good. I'm like, don't have the words to express that, yes, this class is stupid good. Okay. Paladin is a hard one for me. I'm going to end up throwing it in endgame ready. It's not even really worth, like, the mastery skill isn't that great. It's AGs, or however you say it. Half damage from weapons that are attacked from a distance, I think. That's exactly how it goes. It's like magic and like bows and stuff. Half damage, which sounds nice on paper, but it's like a skill activation rate, so it doesn't happen all the time. And its real high best selling point is its high movement, and it has Lance Fair. So if you have like Sylvain or Ferdinand or even like Sedith go into that with Swift Strikes, that can be a really potent combo. So you have like, yeah, say you do throw Sylvain into Paladin that has Lance Fair with Swift Strikes and also with Death Blow. That is stupid amounts of damage just right there. So I think it's definitely a viable class in the end game, being that has Lance Fair. I think it's one of the only like classes that's really worth it for a physical fighter as a male to have Lance Fair and to keep going in it. So Paladin, endgame ready for sure. Assassin is another rough one for me, but it has 6 move, decent sword class. The mastery skills or whatever, don't really worry about those, but I think it is endgame ready. Stealth does have some interesting utility behind it. Being able to just move into enemy range but not be targeted can be really nice for certain things. Pretty situational, but I think overall, it's a pretty viable endgame class. I think it is a little better than like Swordmaster, just for the extra movement, but it's debatable. Okay, Hero is a hard one ultimately. Ultimately, I am going to put it in Don't Waste Your Time, just because, I mean, I don't feel like there's any reason to have a unit use axes, like have a unit that's learned swords and axes to go into Hero. Yeah, it just doesn't feel worth it. I'd rather have a Swordmaster, or I'd rather have a Warrior than I would have this guy, a Hero. So that's just my opinion on that one. I'm not super strong on that one. I don't have a lot of experience with that class, if I'm being honest, but just looking at it, it doesn't impress me. So I'm going to put it in Don't Waste Your Time. Okay, Fortress Knight. And put it in Endgame Ready. Those of you who've been watching the channel for a while know that I'm not the biggest fan of Armor Knights and Fortress Knights, but I will admit their high defense can be very useful on Maddening, and there's a lot of ways to mitigate their biggest issue, which is 4 move. So I'm going to put them in endgame ready. Like, you throw a guard adjutant onto on a Fortress Knight, and they're going to be tanking a lot of hits. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good endgame class. Okay, Wyvern Rider. I don't really care for I think it's Defiant Strength that they learn. Don't really care for that. Or you could throw them. I consider throwing them into endgame ready, but just because there is a much better version of Wyvern Knight or Wyvern Rider, I'm going to leave them in Stepping Stone. Great flying class, Axe Fair, I believe, so that's good. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it in Stepping Stone, but it's not bad. Okay. Bishop. Endgame ready. Times 2 uses on your magic on your white magic. So for some units that means 2 warps, but that also means like double the physics, double the recovers, double the mends. Oh, not mend. There's no mend. What am I talking about? Double the physics, double the fortifies, all that stuff. Great utility class. Definitely good end game healer class. Dark Bishop, not worth your time. Just because you have to go through Dark Mage to get to Dark Bishop. Dark Mage is not very good, and then Dark Bishop, they learn Life Taker, which could be cool, but I think is less useful than you might think it would be. You know, gaining health after killing an enemy on player phase sounds nice, but I feel like your mages on Maddening shouldn't be taking a whole lot of damage. If they're taking a lot of damage, you probably need to rethink your strategy a little bit, because they should be using the Caduceus Staff and the Thyrsus Staff and whatever else to attack from a distance, and not receive counter damage, or to be killing in one hit if they can. So I'm going to say don't waste your time with this class. It's Life Takers, whatever. So yeah. Okay, Warlock. Warlock's a hard one for me. I think ultimately, I think it is an endgame ready class. Even if it is at like the lower spectrum of endgame classes. Warlock is good. It is a great magic class, especially it's a fine ending magic class for male units. If you don't want to train them in horseback riding, but I mean, there are better options, but I will say it's an endgame ready class. Okay, Grappler is amazing. Great endgame class, just for the fact that it has Fierce Iron Fist as a mastered ability that is exclusive to the class, so it's an exclusive class ability. Being able to attack 3 times in a row with gauntlets is great. Again, pair that with Fist Fair and with Death Blow, and that is just an extremely potent combination that will probably one-round most enemies. So, yeah, good class. Good class. Okay, Swordmaster. Another one that I think is end game ready, but there might be a better option. Swordmaster, great. It's probably your best bet for a unit that is focused on swords to be the best at combat they could be. If you don't have them, if you haven't had them learn anything else for whatever reason, then yeah, this is probably your best bet. And it's not a bad one either. The mastery abilities are kind of whatever. Astra isn't that great. It's not bad, but it's not great. Yeah, gonna leave it at that. I think it's a good class. Sword Fair, obviously good. Really high speed, decent strength bases. So we'll leave it at that. End game ready class for sure. Warrior is a hard one for me because I don't really think it is the best end game class, just because there's better options with the same weaponry. So if you have someone focused on axes, like, I guess if you don't want to focus on flying or something, then yeah, you won't be a Wyvern rider. But why wouldn't you be? Is my thing. I'm gonna say that we're gonna say master it and move on. I'm not gonna say endgame because I think there's other classes that do it better. Essentially, they learn Wrath though. And Wrath can be really good. So if you do want to use like hero, I would say learn Wrath because they have Vantage as a class ability. So you have the Vantage Wrath combo, which is always fun to use and can be really good if you have like, I don't know, a Wu Dao plus or something on your hero for that. Yeah, we'll say that. We'll say master it for Warrior. That's one I'm just a little iffy on. Okay, now we're down to just the master classes. And most of these are really good, of course. Bow Knight, we will throw an endgame ready. +2 range and high movement. Hard to beat. I don't know if it's better than... I don't know if I would say it's better than Sniper, just because it doesn't have Hunter's Volley. I think they both have pros and cons. Dark Knight, I think, is endgame ready. I think it is a good endgame class for male mages if you have the opportunity to put them into horseback riding, like horse training and lance training, in to get there. Falcon Knight is stupid good. Like, I don't know why I don't have any of these ordered really in tiers, but Falcon Knight is just so good. I love it. Super good endgame class. So we're gonna leave it there. Great knight. Don't waste your time. If you have a high defense armor knight person, just leave them in fortress knight. Don't worry about trying to train their riding to get there. To me, it's not worth it personally. Just leave them. Don't waste your time. Again, that's just my opinion, but that's how I feel. Gramarye, great endgame female magic user class, especially for people that you want to take advantage of maybe their spell lists that don't have as many uses as you would like. The ones that come to mind obviously are like Lysithea, who has like dark spikes. There's some maps where you want more than however many dark spikes she has, like two or three dark spikes uses. So yeah, really great. Also, double the white magic is good too for healing, but also for warping and rescuing. So yeah, great endgame class. Amazing endgame class. Okay, Holy Knight. Don't waste your time. Just not very good. Mortal Savant also. Don't waste your time. Again, just not a very good class. It's most hybrid classes I'm not a huge fan of. Like as in like hybrid between supposed to be like physical and magical unit. But especially Mortal Savant, just because I don't know, it doesn't have a horse. The other ones have horses and a little more move. Just don't waste your time with it. I would say either pick physical or pick magical. There's very few units that can pull off being both at the same time. Like Byleth can kind of pull it off, and then you got like Lorenz can pull it off probably, but not very well either. So yeah, just don't waste your time with that. War Master is probably endgame ready, but I could also see the argument for master it and move on, because going back to Grappler might be the best play for Fierce Iron Fist, but I'm going to put it in endgame ready because it is definitely a good endgame class. And last, definitely not least, we have Wyvern Lord, definitely endgame ready. It's going to be one of your best classes, it just is. Axe Fair plus flying. It's so good. It's a really great endgame class. It's a great place to put your axe units after they've learned, Death Blow and all the other stuff. Endgame ready for sure. Great class. So this is my tier list. I don't know if it's accurate or what, but it's just my opinion. So please tell me what you have to say on the matter in the comments. And if it's good, if there's enough outcry and response, maybe we've never done a tier list like this before here on FED, so maybe we'll do a bit of a revision. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Oh, because I forgot. Sorry. Okay, noble / commoner, master it and move on. And for Lord, if you want to do Lord, I don't have the sprite for that right now, so I'm just going to put it in don't waste your time. But yeah, okay, bye guys. Post-production, me here. So I forgot to talk about the DLC exclusive classes, so we're going to do that real quick. Trickster is, honestly, all of them are great endgame classes. Trickster, great utility with foul play, especially with the Fetters of Dromai. Being able to foul play and then Canto afterwards can be, that's super good. And the +1 move is great too. So Trickster, good class. Definitely endgame worthy. And if you want Duelist Blow, that's cool too. Being an extra dodge can be nice. War Monk / War Cleric is probably the least impressive of the four, of the 5 DLC exclusive classes. It's not bad though. If you have a Brawler and you want Brawl of it +20, you can master it. I might say, yeah, master it and move on. That's what we'll say with that one. It's a master it and move on class, War Monk / Cleric. Dark Flyer, easy endgame class, great. Transmute is fun. Black Tome Fair is great. Not so great for a character, for like Lysithea or Edelgard even, because she learns Dark Magic. But great endgame class. Same goes for Valkyrie. Great endgame class. Uncanny Blow is nice for making sure you hit things. So yeah, all 4 are great. War Monk I wouldn't really say is the best endgame class, but the other 3 definitely could be endgame classes. Death Knight, which is exclusive to Yorita, of course, is obviously great handgun class. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for watching anyways, though. All right, bye.